But when a person repents of their sin, that a bad day, that fear of God's going to have a bad day and send us to hell should be gone. It should be gone because of the truth. Not be motivated by fear, but by God's love. So why is it important? Reason that it's important that we believe and teach the assurance of salvation is because without it we're motivated. Without it, we downplay the power of the cross. And I've kind of hinted at this already, but when we talk about it is the finished work. Jesus doesn't go back to the cross every time you sin and say, I'm sorry. He doesn't go back to the cross. It is the finished. God comes into our life. He forgives us, not just of individual, the penalty of sin. And that is a bigger concept. When we don't believe in the assurance of our salvation, we downplay the effectiveness of the cross. Honestly, I think it puts us in danger of preaching a false gospel. I think it puts us in danger of preaching a false gospel that really, yes, you got to pray and receive, but then you got to be good too. And you got to stay in it, and you got to hang on to it. And I think what Jesus did on the cross is enough. And it comes back to this. We said this morning, but it comes back to this. You didn't save you. If you're saved, you didn't do it. It wasn't because you prayed. You did more good than bad. It wasn't because you got baptized. It's because Jesus offered you salvation. Here's what you did. Yes, sir, thank you. I'll receive it. That's literally all you did. If you did anything else, it wasn't it. He is the one that saves us. It's His work on the cross. I don't know if I said it strongly enough this morning or not, but if there was any other way other than Jesus dying on the cross, then God, realize what I said, but if there was any other way, can you imagine the Father? If there was any other way, if you could have saved yourself by good works, for example, if you could have been baptized by going to church, joining a church, if you could have saved yourself by any of those things, then for was the most wicked thing He could have ever done. But because there was no other way, Jesus goes to the cross, dies for ourselves. So it logically then follows that if we didn't save ourselves to begin with, we don't keep to begin with. This is the idea of the perseverance. We are not saved. It's good work, and that's what keeps us saved. All right? When in the assurance of salvation, we're highlighting the grace. Now, this is where I'm going to get into a little bit of Brother Robert's territory because there may be some times when you're asked this. If you're a Christian leader for very long, a Sunday school teacher, a leader trying to coach a kid through some of these issues, how can we help others who struggle with the assurance of salvation? I'll give you a couple of, these are just more pointers. Okay? How can we help others who struggle with? Let me start out with this. Realize we are not trying to win a debate. When you talk to, let's say, a discussion group online, somebody brings up a topic. Well, we believe this. Well, okay, this is my opportunity. I believe something different. Let me share. Believe. I think one of the real challenges to that is that we be sense. It's a whole lot different to say something to someone's face than it is to even write them a letter and send it. Face someone, we are upfront with their humanity. And I think that's important. Not that we can't say things online. I'm just saying, trying to win an argument. We're trying to win a person. We're trying to win a soul to the gospel, to the truth. And so, to say, well, how could you stupid other y'all believe that? That's so dumb. You are, now we're into the name calling, or now y'all need to be in. You may win the argument, you just lost the person. They are now your enemy, even if you are right. And so we are not trying to win an argument. We are trying to win the person. Here's a second. Again, is me, not Bible. I could find a scripture if you want it, but how do we help others who are struggling with the assurance of their salvation? We need to realize something that they're dealing with. And I think this is not that deal with. Dad's here, he could vouch for it. Others are here that could vouch for it. One of the reasons that people are often hung up here is because there are some real issues of sin in their life. One of the reasons that people can struggle with the assurance of their salvation is because there's some hang-up. Something that they deal with. There's something that regularly plagues them. And every time that plagues them, God love someone like me. And so to receive, and we've all experienced this on some level, how could God love somebody like me? He knows who I really am. He knows what I deal with. He's read my